Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillahi amma ba'du. Allah Ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran, وَنَزَّلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. We have revealed to you, Ya Muhammad, this book, the Quran, and it explains everything you need to know. Allah Ta'ala also mentioned in the Quran, وَمَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We have not left out anything from this book. We have not left out anything from this book. So everything that a Muslim needs to know about his dunya and about his hereafter, he can find it in the book of Allah. That doesn't mean that the Quran tells you the details of how to build a computer or how to take an engine out of the car. It doesn't tell you all of those details, but it tells you the general idea about everything. But in terms of the deen, everything the deen has been dealt with in perfect detail. We don't need to introduce anything. We don't need to come up with new ideas in the deen in worshiping Allah or doing any form of ibadah. So today, inshallah, I want to remind you, brothers, of an issue that is a mundane issue. It's mundane. People don't consider it at all. And yet, the dars is going to show you how detailed Islam is, in that it talked about this mundane issue from all of the angles. Shukran ya akhi. The mundane issue that we want to share with you here today and get some fiqh concerning it, something that I've been talking about recently, and that is about the fiqh of dreams in al-Islam, the fiqh of dreams, something that we all experience on a daily basis. If you were to ask the average Muslim, what do you know about dreams in the Quran and the Sunnah? Just anything. What do you know about dreams in the Quran and the Sunnah? You'll find that many times we don't have too much information about the issue, and that's why people get taken advantage of, and that's why people are affected and they have anxiety even because of their dreams. If they only knew what the religion said about it, we would know how to protect ourselves, because there are people who are out there, charlatans, especially in the Asian community, charlatans, like the man Tahir Qadri. You guys heard of that man? No. Yes, like Noor channel, Noor TV. These people take advantage of the Muslims. They take advantage of people. Ofcom, which is an organization that regulates what TV programs are shown and what's said, they fined Noor TV 75,000 pounds, 75,000 pounds for fraud and lying. What they were doing was, you, the audience, you can call the Maulvi Sahib on the TV and he would make dua for you, and you have to pay him to make dua for you. So many people are sick, they have relatives who are sick, they need things, so they call the Maulvi Sahib and they say, okay, I'm gonna give you 100 pounds, 200 pounds, and pledge the money. And they were lying. They weren't even making dua. They weren't even making dua. So it took the kuffar to get involved. They came in and they charged that channel 75,000 pounds, which I'm sure the channel doesn't care, because they probably made more than 75,000 pounds anyway. But the point is, the way the Asian community, Muslims, the way we look, the way we think, we put ourselves in a position for people to take advantage of us. You have a dream, you come to the Imam, to the Maulvi Sahib, he says, okay, I'll interpret your dream, whatever it is, whatever your dream is. You tell him the dream, he says, the meaning of that dream, you saw a lion in your dream and you were running from the lion. That dream means you're going to be in Jannat al-Firdaus with Rasulullah sallallahu and Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Aisha, and they're all going to be close to you and you're running to get there very quickly. Now give me 200 pounds. And the person will give him the 200 pounds. If he knew his religion about the fiqh of dreams, he wouldn't go to these people. There's the third scenario. The person he sees in his dream, something happened. He saw that he died in the dream. He was in an airplane crash. He was in a car accident, and it was a horrific accident. The individual becomes overwhelmed and he becomes gripped by fear. So he decides to cancel his trip because he really thinks that that was a sign and a premonition that he's going to die. So he wants to escape death. So he says, I'm not going to take the trip. Although he purchased the ticket, although everyone expected him to go back home in order to attend the wedding, he says, I'm not going, because he saw in his dream. If he knew the fiqh of the dream, he knows that that dream can't do anything to him. He knows that that dream can't do anything to him. And he also knows that if death was written for him, as Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, أَيْنَمَا تَكُونُوا يُدْرِكْكُمُ الْمَوْتِ وَلَوْ كُنْتُمْ فِي بُرُوجٍ مُشَيَّدَةٍ. Wherever you are, death is going to hit you. Even if you happen to be in a high tower, you go up in a high tower, if death was written for you, the angel of death is going to go up in that high tower. He's going to go up there and he's going to find you. You can't go in your room and open up the closet and get under the bed, and the angel of death comes and he's looking and he can't find you. And then he says, okay, he's not here, and he goes the other way. No, death is going to find us wherever we happen to be. So the point here is, if the person has some fiqh about these issues, it will be easier for him. So I want to bring this to your attention, because there's another person. None of you brothers, alhamdulillah, are these type of people. I'm not going to travel because I saw something in a dream. I'm not going to go to the Maulvi Saab to give him money. None of you are like that. But you may be like the fourth example. And the fourth example is the Muslim who doesn't know about the fiqh of the dream, and as a result of that, he loses a lot of rewards from Allah. If he knows about the fiqh of dreams, there's a lot of rewards that can be obtained, and it's easy. And this is what we're going to talk to you about today, inshallah ta'ala. Concerning the issue, dreams, it's an important issue. And the proof that it's an important issue is that Allah ta'ala mentioned in the Quran in Surah Ar-Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. From the ayat of Allah, from his ayat, is the fact that you go to sleep during the nighttime and the daytime. It is an ayat for many reasons. It's an ayat that shows Allah deserves to be worshipped. It's an ayat that shows you, Bani Adam, are miskeen, da'if, and Allah is qawi. He's strong, able, capable. When a person goes to sleep at night or during the daytime, he doesn't know where his intellect is. He doesn't have the ability to bring to himself benefit or to push off of himself harm. He's sleeping. While he's sleeping, his heart slows down. At any minute, Allah Azza wa Jal can take his life, whether he's asleep or awake. But when he's asleep, he's rendered even more incapacitated. He's more da'if because he's sleeping. It's an ayat from Allah Azza wa Jal. In sleep, I don't know if you know people like this, but there's a sickness, a disease that is connected to sleep. Many diseases. One of them is called apnea. Apnea is when a person just stops breathing. He's sleeping, he just stopped breathing. These people have to go to sleep sitting up, because if they lie down, they can choke to death, just suffocate, because they don't breathe. That's from the ayat of Allah. There are other people who you can swallow your tongue and die. You can swallow your spit and die. The point is, they are ayat that Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ مَنَامُكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ. From his ayat is you go to sleep during the day and you go to sleep during the night. And when you go to sleep, all of these issues are showing you and indicating La ilaha illallah. One of the ayat of sleeping is what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, An-Nawm akhul maut. Sleep is the brother of death. An-Nawm akhul maut. Sleep is the brother to death. Meaning, when a person goes to sleep, he is dead. His soul goes wherever Allah wants it to go, and he's not in control. He can't feel, he doesn't know what's going on. So every time you go to sleep at night, you have in essence died the smaller death. So the Nabi, when he used to wake up in the morning, he taught us that when you wake up, sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi an-nushur. All praises are due to Allah, who gave us life after death, and to him is the return. So from his ayat is you go to sleep. And every day that you've gone to sleep since you were born, since you came out as a baby, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, you wake up, you go to sleep, you wake up. Every time you go to sleep, you have died. And just as Allah gave you life again, He's going to give you life Yawmul Qiyamah. After you really die, Allah is going to bring Bani Adam back to life to be accounted for what they did and what they didn't do. You didn't pray, you didn't do this, you drank, you did this, whatever. So that goes to show, just as we go to bed every day and we wake up every day, you're not promised tomorrow, but if you do wake up, it is not acceptable for Bani Adam to be in any doubt of Yawm al-Qiyamah. Because the kuffar of Quraysh, that was one of the problems they used to have. The Prophet used to tell them about al-Iman bil-Yawm al-Akhir, believing in the hereafter. They used to say crazy things. أَإِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا أَإِنَّا لَفِي خَلْقٍ جَدِيدٍ. You mean to tell us, Ya Muhammad, when we die and we become dirt, we're going to be raised up again? They used to believe in Allah. They used to believe in the prophets. They used to believe in the angels. But they had a problem with believing in Yawm al-Akhir. That was something Abu Lahab, Abu Jahl, they did not believe in that. They didn't believe in that. But the ayat of the Quran came down. The authentic sunnah told them, just as you go to sleep every day, sleep is the brother of death. And Allah gives you life, you're going to die. And Allah is going to give you life again. So this point here is, if it wasn't important, Allah wouldn't have mentioned it. Second thing that shows it's important, sleep is important, this is an ayah, is that Allah Ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran a number of prophets and messengers and what was connected to their dreams. From them is what He mentioned with Yusuf. وَإِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفْ لِأَبِيهِ يَا أَبَتِ إِنِّي رَأَيْتُ أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا وَرَأَيْتُ الشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ. And remember when Yusuf said to his father, Yaqub, he said, "Oh my father, I saw in a dream, I saw the sun and the moon, and I saw 11 stars. In my sleep, I saw in a dream, I saw that they all made prostration and sajda to me." The father said, لا تقصص رؤياك على إخوتك فيكيدوا لك كيدا إن الإنسان إن الشيطان للإنسان عدو مبين. Don't tell the dream to your brothers, so they're going to make a plot against you, a bad plot. The shaitan is an enemy to Bani Adam. So the point here is, Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned this issue, the dream of Yusuf, the dream of the king, when he saw 7 lean cows eating 7 fat cows. It was mentioned in the Quran. Another example of that is the example of the Khalil of Allah. So I want to ask you, brothers, just put your hand up. As a Muslim, if you heard, the Prophet, his name is, he's called the Khalil of Allah, Khalilullah. Who is that Prophet? Put your hand up. Who is the Prophet known as Khalilullah? Put your hand up if you know, let me see. Okay, put your hands down. If you don't know, put your hand up. If you don't know, put your hand up. Okay, that's good. Good. Some people didn't put their hands up for either one. All right, from the beginning. You know who the Khalil of Allah is, put your hand up. All right, good. Put your hands down. If you don't know Khalil of Allah, put your hands up. Okay. Khalil of Allah. Who was Khalil of Allah? Ibrahim. His name is Khalilullah. وَاتَّخَذَ اللَّهُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ خَلِيلًا. Allah took Ibrahim as a Khalil. So he's called the Khalil of Allah. That's new knowledge. Also, Prophet Muhammad is called Khalil Allah, by Ibrahim first and foremost. Allah mentioned about Ibrahim in the Quran when he said to his son, Ya bunayya, inni ara inni adba'uka fanzur madha tara. Qala ya abati fa'af'al ma tu'mar satajidni inshallah min as-sabirin. And remember when Ibrahim said to his son Ismail, "Hey my son, I saw in a dream that I was slaughtering you, that I slaughtered you for the Eid al-Adha. I saw in the dream that I was slaughtering you after Hajj. We're going to slaughter. I saw in my dream that I slaughtered you. What do you think? What's your opinion?" The son said, "Abi, do whatever you were commanded. Do what you saw. I'm going to be patient." Now this is important, brothers. This is important. Why did Ibrahim's son tell his father, "Go ahead, do it. If you saw that in a dream, do it"? Why did his son tell him that? His son told him that because the prophets and the messengers, anytime they have a dream, then it's revelation. The Prophet said about the prophets and the messengers, كَذَلِكَ الْأَنْبِيَاء تَنَامُ أَعْيُنُهُمْ وَلَا تَنَامُ قُلُوبُهُم. He said the prophets, their eyes go to sleep. They close their eyes, but their hearts are awake. So when they sleep, revelation comes to them. And it happened with Rasulullah a lot. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. It was revealed to him in a dream. He used to comb his hair with a comb, and there were some hairs left in the comb. A Jewish lady, magician, she took his hair and she made a potion on it, and she tied knots on his hair and spit on the hair and made a potion, and the Prophet became mashur, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had magic on him, and he was sleeping one day. While he was sleeping, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one angel sat at his head, the other one sat at his feet, and he can see and hear them, and they were talking to each other. What's wrong with him? The other one said, the Jewish lady took his hair and blew on the knots, and she threw the hair in the comb in such and such a well. He has to go and get the comb from there. And then those two surahs came down. When the Prophet woke up, he went to the well, he took it out, and he started reading these surahs to protect him from magic and other than that. So that's an example of how he saw revelation in his dream, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the prophets and the messengers, what they see in their dreams is revelation. As for you and me, this is what we're going to explain. So far, what we've dealt with so far is dreams are important because it's from the ayat of Allah. Number two, Allah mentioned in the Quran situations where prophets and messengers, where they had dreams and it was detailed. If it wasn't important, Allah Azza wa Jal would not have mentioned it at all. After that, Ikhwani, after that, there are three types of dreams. So if you were asked, how many categories of dreams are there? The answer is, there are three categories of dreams. That comes to us in an authentic hadith. The Nabi, he says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, الرؤيا ثلاثة فرؤيا الصالحة بشرى من الله ورؤيا تحزين الشيطان ورؤيا مما يحدث المرء نفسه. He said there are three types of dreams that you have. Not four, not two, three types. He said the first type of dream is when you see in a good dream. That good dream is a bushra from Allah. The second type of dream is a dream where you see a nightmare. He said that comes from a shaitan. The third type of dream is a dream, he said it's just something that the person just sees him suggesting to his own self. And we'll explain that, inshallah. The first dream, the good dream. Someone wants to do something. He wants to get married. For an example, one of you young brothers, you want to get married. And then you went and you met the family of the girl. They liked you and you liked them and you liked the girl and she liked you. But you're not sure, should I do it, should I not do it? So you pray Salat al-Istikhara. After praying Istikhara, you went to sleep. After going to sleep, while you were sitting there, someone came to you in your dream with a tray. And it had something covered. And then when they took the cover off the tray, it was the face of that girl looking very beautiful, and nur was coming out of her face. And then you wake up and you say, wow, that was a nice dream. That type of dream is a bushra from Allah. It doesn't mean when you make istikhara, you must see a dream. You may not see a dream and you may see a dream. But anything you see good in your dream, when you wake up and you feel good, your mother died, your father died, someone died who you were close to. In your dream, that your mother comes to you in your dream and she has nur. And she comes and there are birds flying around her and she says to you, son, everything is going to be okay. I'm okay and you're going to be okay. And she puts her hand on your chest and she goes off and walks into the sun. And she's waving by. When you wake up, you feel good. That's a bushra from Allah. That's a bushra. Those types of dreams where you wake up and you feel good and nothing bad happened in your dream, but instead good things, that is a bushra from Allah, a bushra, a good sign. The second type of dream is the nightmare. The nightmare. The nightmare where the person sees himself being killed, his head gets chopped off, something happens, something crazy happens. Those are nightmares. And we're going to tell you what you have to do, inshallah, when you have those types of dreams. Anything you see in your dream that disturbs you, you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, you're hearing something, you're not responsible for it. You see something, you're doing something with someone that you shouldn't be doing, you're not responsible for it, but it's from a shaitan. The third category of dreams is the dream that the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the person just talks to himself. He suggests to himself. For an example, you're going to take an exam tomorrow in maths. You've been studying for a week, for 2 weeks for the exam. You're trying to get ready for the exam. You're anxious about it. You're preoccupied about it. You're going to take an exam of how to drive a car. You're going to go, tomorrow's your exam. You're going to do the practical. You're going to get in behind the wheel and drive with the instructor. So you're preoccupied with that. You're nervous about it. So that night before the exam, you see yourself driving a car in the race. You're driving very fast. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just something you're preoccupied with. The one who's going to take an exam in maths, he goes to sleep and he sees numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're jumping around talking to each other. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just something he's preoccupied with. Those are the 3 types of dreams in Al-Islam, and there's something to be done in the first 2. As for the first 2, the Prophet said about them, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ar-ru'ya as-salihah min Allah, wal-hulm min ash-shaytan." He said the good dream is from Allah, and the nightmare is from a shaitan. One of the benefits of dreams is that the Nabi told his companion, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Lam yabqa من المبشرات إلى الرؤيا لم يبقى من النبوة إلى المبشرات قيل وما المبشرات يا رسول الله قال الرؤيا الصالحة." He said revelation is finished. There's no more revelation. No more revelation, Quran being revealed. No one can come and say the Quran was revealed. No one can come and say that he's a prophet. This is why these people who call themselves the Qadianis, over there by Garrison Lane, where the 97 bus goes, there's a big masjid over there, Ahmadiyyas, Qadianis. Those people are kuffar. They're kuffar. And the reason why they're kuffar is because they believe Ghulam Mirza Ahmed is a prophet after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah said, La Nabiya Ba'di. There's no prophet after me. No prophet is coming after me. He said in this hadith that we're dealing with the dreams, he said prophecy and nubuwah is finished. No more prophecy. He said the only thing that remains of prophecy is the mubashirat. They said, what are the mubashirat, Ya Rasulullah? He said, ru'ya salihah, the good dream that someone sees. But if you see a good dream, that doesn't mean you're a Nabi. That doesn't mean you're a prophet. And why is it that the good dream, why is it considered to be from prophecy? Why is it? The reason for that is when you go to sleep and you see things in your dream, you see things from the ghaib, the ilm al-ghaib. And only the prophets can see in the ghaib. So Allah Ta'ala allows regular people to see certain things in the ghaib. He's not a prophet, but he can see certain things. He sees something and he makes a decision. He saw something and said, don't get married. So he doesn't get married because he made a istikhara. So he sees something from the ghaib. And for that reason, ikhwani, the people of the past would only tell their dreams to knowledgeable people. They wouldn't tell their dreams to a crackhead, a drunkard, a person who doesn't pray, a charlatan, malvisab, who just steals the money. Don't tell your dream. Al-Imam al-Bukhari, he saw in the dream. Al-Imam al-Bukhari. He saw in the dream that the Prophet was in his dream, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And there were flies flying around the Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam al-Bukhari saw himself shooing the flies away. Shooing them, getting them off of the Nabi. When he woke up the next day, he went to his sheikh. His sheikh's name was Ibrahim ibn Ishaq Rahuwiya. This man, he had a madhab. He had a madhab all by himself. And his madhab was bigger and better than all 4 of these madhabs that are here today. So if someone tells you, you must have a madhab, they're lying. There's no dalil for that. The second thing is, what about the other madhabs that were better than these madhabs? Like the madhab of Al-Imam Ishaq Ibrahim Rahuwiya. What about the madhab of Al-Imam Al-Awza'i? What about the madhab of Imam Sa'd ibn Layth? Those madhabs were just as strong, if not stronger and better than those 4. That doesn't mean those 4 are no good. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there's no dalil, no proof from the Quran and the Sunnah. You must have a madhab. Don't listen to people when they say that. If you want to have a madhab as a systematic way to arrive at conclusions, no problems. But don't be of these ignorant people who they tell you, you must have a madhab. You say, where's the dalil for that? They don't have any dalil. What was the madhab of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Abu Huraira, Bilal, and the rest of them? What do you mean? Where did it say you have to have a madhab? If you have a madhab, it's okay. Except when the dalil comes and it goes against the madhab, you have to do what? Do you take the madhab or do you take the dalil? I want to ask you guys. I'm Hanbali for an example. And my madhab says something that's wrong. The hadith said do this, the madhab said do that. What should I do? Should I stick to the madhab or should I take what the Prophet said? Somebody answer that. Take the hadith. That's one of the big problems with the madhab people today. That the Prophet ﷺ, he did raf'ul yadayn. For an example, he did raf'ul yadayn by the Lord of the Kaaba. The person who's on the madhab, he says, I'm not going to do that. Why aren't you going to do it? My madhab. What about what the Prophet said? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Anyway, the point here is, Al-Imam al-Bukhari went to his sheikh and he said, I saw the Nabi in the dream and he was sitting there and there were flies flying around and I was shooing the flies away. What's the interpretation of the dream? He said, Allahu Alam. I don't know, but it appears that you're going to be the one who preserves the sunnah. You're going to protect the sunnah. You're going to do something for the sunnah. Al-Imam al-Bukhari decided, after that man suggested to him, to put together his book, Sahih Bukhari. Sahih Bukhari. Are we going to say Sahih Bukhari, the reason why it was put is because of a bad dream? It came as a result of a good dream. A good dream from the unseen, from the ghaib. But just as important is who did Al-Imam al-Bukhari go to get the interpretation of his dream. If he went to one of these Mulvi Sabs of Birmingham today, Noor TV, Medini TV, you go tell him I saw myself sitting with the Nabi and I was pushing the flies away, he would have said, you're going to be in the Jannah with Prophet Muhammad, Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman. Give me 200 pounds. That's how it is. So you have to go to the person who is not going to ask you money. He's just going to say, I think it's this, but Allahu Alam. Because no one can say for sure what the dream meant. So that's the other point, that the dreams are from prophecy. How are they from prophecy? Meaning that they give you an insight into the ghaib. It doesn't make you a Nabi, but you have the ability to see something. You can see your mother in her country, she's visiting. You can see her in a dream doing something, and you may really see your mother. A few issues about dreams that we should know about. Number one, about the dream. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ra'ani fil manam, faqad ra'ani fil yaqadha, fa inna ash-shaytan la yatamathalu bi. He said, anyone who sees me in a dream, then verily he has seen me in the dream. Because shaitan doesn't have the ability to imitate me, to look like me. Shaitan can imitate everybody who's here. Everybody who's here. When I was a Christian, in the Bible, what they believe about Sulaiman. They believe that Sulaiman, the Jews believe Sulaiman was a magician. That's why in Surah Al-Baqarah, the story is there about Sulaiman. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ وَلَكِنَ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ مَا أُنزِلَ عَلَى الْمَلَكَيْنِ بِبَابِلْ هَارُوتَ وَمَارُوتَ. Allah said, Sulaiman didn't disbelieve. The kuffar from the Jews disbelieved. They taught the people magic. What came down at Babylon to the two angels, Harut and Marut. Those Jews believe that Sulaiman had a ring that he used to wear that had the power of magic. He was able to talk to the birds and to the animals, subject the wind. He had control over the jinn because of that ring. In the Bible, it said that Sulaiman, he went into the toilet, akramakumullah. He went into the bathroom and his wife was at the door. He took off the ring and said, hold this till I go in. When he went in there, Shaitan came to the wife in the form of Sulaiman and said, okay, I'm done. Give me the ring. The wife, thinking that was Sulaiman, gave the Shaitan the ring, and then the Shaitan started making fitna and fasad in the name of Sulaiman. As Muslims, pay attention to this. As Muslims, we have to believe in Allah. Believe in Allah, the Malaika, the Kutub. We have to believe in the Rasul. We have to believe in Yawm al-Akhir. We have to believe in the Qadr. Now, each one of them has details. Don't say, I believe in Allah, and then you turn around and say, Rasulullah is from the nur of Allah. Rasulullah is Hazir Nazir. Rasulullah knows the ilm al-ghayb. You don't believe in Allah properly. The person says he believes in the malaika. Okay, he believes that the malaika, the shaitan is an angel, a bad angel with a red tail, and he has a fork. And you don't believe in the angels correctly. All of these 6 things, they have their details. Believing in Allah, where he is, what he does, what he doesn't do, who he is, who he's not. A lot of details. Believing in the books. We have to believe that the Quran is the best book and the other books have been tampered with and the books that were given to these prophets and messengers and so forth and so on. We have to believe in the prophets. Believing in the prophets. Part of that is we believe their eyes go to sleep, but their hearts don't sleep. Their dreams of revelation. Prophets don't commit zina. They don't drink khamr, like in the Bible, that craziness that the Bible says. The Bible says some crazy things about the prophets. Lot. They said that when Allah destroyed his people, Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible said that Lot drank khamr and had relations with his 2 daughters, 2 days in a row. As Muslims, we don't believe in that craziness. The Shiite of Iran, the Shiite of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Iraq, the ones who believe in Khomeini, the 12 Imam Shiites, they believe that the Prophet's wife Aisha used to commit zina. If you believe that a Prophet's wife committed zina, that the Nabi's wife committed zina, something's wrong with your iman in the prophets and the messengers. Allah wouldn't allow that to happen. So the point is, there are details. And from the details is that the shaitan, he cannot resemble a Nabi. He can resemble you and he can resemble me. The Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, during the fitna of a Dajjal, the Dajjal will come to a person here. And the Dajjal will come to you in the form of your mother or your father. Your mother and your father, they died. Dajjal will come and say, worship him. He is your Lord. And you, a person who you have a beard, you pray. You a person, you don't go to the Malvi Sahib. You don't believe in Hazar Nazar. You don't believe in the Yarmi. You don't believe in the Khatam. You don't make dua to other than Allah. You don't say, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad. You don't have any of that bid'ah khurafat. But Dajjal will be able to take the most religious person here off of his deen. So the Prophet told us what? He told us, if you hear of him, run the other way. Don't be inquisitive. Don't go to see, well, I just want to check to see what's going on. Because if you go to check, he'll have the ability to make some things happen to mesmerize you. He'll make the money come out of the sky. He'll make the rain come out of the sky. He'll make the money come out of the earth. He'll be able to look like your mother, like your father. So much stuff. So the Nabi said, run away from him. And that's a general rule in Islam. Run away from people of innovation. Run away. Here in this part of the city, these people will talk about jihad, kill. Hey, you better run away from those people if you're around people like that. You better run away from them. Because when them police come to get someone, you're not doing anything. But when they come to get the people who are really doing something, your name is going to be in their telephone book. They're watching you as well. And then you're going to get locked up for what? How are you helping the Palestinian cause right now? The people in Iraq. How are you helping? Those 7 brothers who got arrested. I'm not saying they did anything. I wasn't there, and I don't believe what the media say, and I don't disbelieve. I can't say yes, I can't say no. I can't say yes, and I can't say. What's the benefit of that dawah? You young brothers, you better listen. Stay away from the people who have these issues, people who have these kinds of problems. You know leprosy? You guys ever heard of leprosy? Leprosy? In Pakistan, do they have leper colonies where only these people? It's a disease where your skin, your meat, flesh starts to fall off. It's scary. The Prophet, they call it abras. Isa ibn Maryam had the ability to cure this person. The Prophet said about the leper, Firru minhu fararaka min al-asad. If a person came in this door with leprosy, the Prophet said, run from him the way you run from a hungry lion. And that's because if he comes in this room, bi'idhnillah, we're all going to become lepers. It's a contagious disease. You don't have to drink after him. All he has to do is breathe in this air. If he breathes and you breathe, you're going to get leprosy, bi'idhnillah. I tell you, These people were talking about kill this one, kill that one. Those people, the leper is less harmful than them. The leper is less harmful. Just like you run from the leper, run from these people. The Nabi said about the 2 camels. You know the Arabs, they used to take care of camels. He said if you have a camel that's sick, some of the camels, they have worms in their nose, worms in their legs. These worms will come out of their ears and their eyes. That's an indication the camel is sick. The Nabi said, don't let the camel who is sick, don't let him drink from the same trough, the same water of the camel that is well. Don't let the sick one and the well one drink from the same place. Why do you think, Umar?
Because he will infect the others.
Because the sick one is going to infect the ones who are well. That hadith tells us, if you are listening to people who are crazy and they're saying these crazy things, don't let the human being, the Muslim, who he's okay, don't let him sit and get polluted and crazy with these people who are like that. Anyway, our Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, taught us that if you see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in your dream, then you really saw him. But 2 things have to happen for him to really be the Nabi for us here. First is, you have to know what the Prophet looks like. If you see someone in your dream and he said he was the Nabi, and then you came and we said, what did he look like? What did he look like? And you do what we used to do in America. Used to be a Christian. And in Christianity, they said, in Christianity right now, Jesus is white, Moses is white, Abraham is white, Jabril is white, Mikael is white, Ibrahim is white, 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 white. Even if your church is black, the pictures is white, 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 white. That does something to your mind. It gives you an inferiority complex. Makes you think white people are better than you because God is white. The Son of God is white. All of the prophets are white. All of them. Although the Bible said Jesus was brown, just like the Sunnah said he was brown. Musa was black, just like the Sunnah said. But anyway, that's not the point. The point here is, when I became a Muslim, I was with a group of people who were Muslims, but they were crazy in their Islam. They said everything black was good. They said Prophet Muhammad was black, the black stone, the Kaaba is black, Ibrahim was black, Hajar is black, everything that was good was black. So someone says, I saw the Prophet last night. What did he look like? He looked like a black man. We're going to say you're a kadhab, you're lying. Because we know that the Nabi was not black, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How do we know that the Nabi wasn't black? We know that because his companion said, when he used to make salat, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would say, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and he would turn his head a lot, so that the people who were in the first row on the left side, they can see his white cheek. They could see the whiteness of his cheek. And when he went the other way, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, people on his right side can see the whiteness of his cheek. How do we know that the Nabi was white, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They said when he used to make sajda, he would open his arms like this. He didn't make sajda like this. He would make sajda like this so that a little sheep can walk under his arm, and we saw the whiteness of the pits of his arm. Now the meaning of white is not like these white people, Europeans, white, but like Arabs, like you brothers. I'm darker than you, like you brothers. The Nabi was that color. So if someone comes and he sees that the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a black man, no, the Nabi wasn't a black man. He had to have been the way you know he really was. The other issue is if you see the Nabi in the dream. You can't see the Nabi in the dream and he comes and he tells you to do something haram. If you saw the Nabi and he came and he told you do something haram, then he wasn't the Nabi. How many of you heard of the institution called Minhajul Quran? How many of you heard that institution? Minhajul Quran. That's the institute that belongs to that man, the famous man. They call him Sheikh al-Islam in Pakistan. His name is Tahir Qadri. He has Minhajul Quran. He said he saw in a dream that the Prophet came to him and told him to build this institution. So give me the money, give me the money. So the people gave him the money. And in the institution, what is he teaching? He's teaching the people shirk. He's teaching the people kufr. He's teaching the people to worship the Nabi. He's teaching to do Christmas. Now, I know some of your relatives, they don't pray. They don't wear hijab. Some of your relatives don't pray. We may even have some young relatives of ours who get high. They smoke weed, they drink. But if you go to those relatives and you say, hey, what's the ruling of Christmas? Every one of them gonna say, Christmas is not from our religion. Do you party on Christmas? Yeah, I party because, I'm not practicing. But Santa Claus, Old Man Christmas, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I don't believe in that. Every one of our relatives, no matter how irreligious he is going to say that. I don't believe in Christmas. This man, he says that Christmas, you can practice Christmas because all it is the celebration of the birth of a Nabi Isa ibn Maryam. So you can practice. And in his Minhaj al-Quran Institute, he brings the Christians from Pakistan and they're cutting the cake and giving gifts to each other. You didn't see Rasulullah inside of your dream because the Nabi would never come and tell you to make an institution that teaches shirk and kufr. So if you do see the Nabi and he tells you to do something, he's only going to tell you that which is advice or that which is from the religion, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for telling you to do innovation, to do shirk, then no. The other issue, and the last issue, inshallah, is that concerning dreams, the Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna a'zam al-fira an yuriya ar-rajul aynahu ma lam tara aw yaqul ala rasulillahi ma lam yaqul. From the worst lie that a person can tell, from the worst lie that a person can make, is for a person to lie about his dream, or for a person to lie and say that the Prophet said something that he didn't say. So there are many types of lies. In Islam, there's no such thing as a white lie. The Prophet saw a lady, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the companions. The lady was trying to tell her son, her little son, come, and she had a date. She was saying, come. And she didn't know that the Nabi was looking at her. Come and get it. And he was reluctant, the little kid. He didn't know if his mother was going to give him the date or not. The Prophet told the mother, if you don't give him the date when he comes, you are a liar. So as a father, I want my children to go to sleep. For an example, I want them to do something. I tell them, okay guys, everyone go to sleep right now, and tomorrow, inshallah, I'm going to give everybody cupcakes and milkshakes. And I know I'm not going to do it. If you do that and you say that, you're a liar in Islam. And we don't have time to talk about lying, but there are different types of lies. And there are many. He gets on his mobile phone and he calls the person and he talks and he says, hey, where you been? I've been trying to call you all day. I called you 1,000 times. You didn't call him 1,000 times. And every kalima that a person says, he's going to be responsible for. He didn't mean that. I really called you 1,000 times. But the Nabi, he said, nothing comes out of his mouth except the truth, and he never lied about anything, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet said the worst kind of lie is when a person lies about his dream. He says that he saw in a dream something that he didn't see. I'll give you another example of why. That same man, Tahir al-Qadiri, that our relatives are exposed to, on Noor TV and other than that. He told the people that the Prophet came to him in a dream, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Rasul was angry with the people of Pakistan. He said, Allah's Prophet is angry with you because you people did not buy the Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a hotel room. In the hotel I'm staying in, you didn't buy a room for the Prophet to stay in by himself. So the people started crying. Oh. And then they started giving him money so that he can buy a room for the Nabi, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, you people, I don't think anyone here will believe that nonsense. If anything, one of us is going to stand up and say, you're lying. Don't talk to us like we're stupid. Don't play these games with us. But our relatives who are sincere, the way that they understand Islam is this kind of kalam, hocus pocus stuff. They love Rasulullah. So someone comes and says, Rasulullah came to me and I saw this. People are going to believe him. The mother and the father, the mother she blackmails the husband. The Prophet came to me in a dream, and the Prophet told me to tell you that your wife, the daughter-in-law that she has a problem with, to divorce your wife. The Prophet told me to tell you that. So the son, that's the last straw for him. He was kind of in between. But when he heard Rasulullah came to the mother, she used that one. I saw the Prophet and he told me to tell you that. So the son divorced it with sincerity. So people who lie about their dreams, they are lying on Allah. Because the dream is from the unseen. So they're lying on Allah. So don't say what you didn't see. He said the second worst type of lie is when a person says the Prophet said something he didn't say, using weak hadith. The Nabi said this, the Nabi said that. He said, and it's just weak hadith. The most hated halal to Allah is divorce. The Prophet said, get knowledge from the cradle to the grave. Search for knowledge all the way to China. All of these weak hadith that have no place didn't come out of his mouth. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Lastly, ikhwani, the good dream and a bad dream. The Nabi told us when you have a good dream, you should do 4 things. And when you have a bad dream, you should do 2 things. When you have a good dream, he said, you should wake up and you should say, Alhamdulillah. If you see a good dream, you should thank Allah. Because a good dream is a ni'mah from Allah. The fact that you were able to go to sleep to have a dream in the first place. I don't know if you guys are aware right now about the trial of Michael Jackson, you know. Yeah, I'm not telling you to go follow the trial. But I watched the news a lot. And I followed it a little bit. And I came to find out that this man had all of that money. A lot of money Michael Jackson had. A lot. He had over $1 billion. $1 billion. That's like 600,000 pounds. 600 million pounds. $1 billion. And yet, he couldn't go to sleep. He couldn't go to sleep at night. He had to hire a doctor who he was paying over $1 million a year to give him drugs just to make him go to sleep. And those drugs cost him his life. Not just regular sleeping pills, but drugs that they use to put you to sleep before they operate on you. Which is a sign, number one, being rich and having a lot of money does not guarantee you happiness. Right now, in Pakistan and India and Africa, there are some really poor people who live in the dirt. I'm talking about really, you know, the slumdog, what they call a slumdog millionaire. That's what it was called, right? People like that who go out there in the garbage and they pick out the garbage every day to eat. There are people like that who don't have £1. But when they go to sleep at night, when they put their head in the dirt at night, in the garbage, the trash at night, they go to sleep. They ain't got no money. Michael Jackson had all of that money and he couldn't go to sleep. Having a lot of money is not a sign that you're happy or you're successful. Another issue about that is that when you wake up and you have a good dream, the Nabi said you should say Alhamdulillah because it's a ni'mah from Allah. He says, second of all, you should tell only the people who you love about your good dream. Don't tell people who you don't love about your good dreams. This is important, especially in the Asian, not only the Asian culture, but this is prevalent. He said, only tell the people that you love. And that's because every ni'mah that Allah gave you, every ni'mah, everything that you have that's a ni'mah, someone is jealous. Someone is hasid. They want you to lose it. They want to give you the evil eye. They're upset. If you have a car, if you extend your kitchen, if you get a plasma TV, if you get married, whatever. The Prophet said, "Inna min wara kulli ni'matin mahsud." Behind every ni'mah that Allah gave you, someone is jealous. And unfortunately, sometimes they're the closest people to us. We have some who are negative. Some of them are like that. They are negative. So if you see a good dream, the Nabi says, Sallallahu, only tell the person who you love. So those are the 3 things that you do. For the bad things, for the bad dreams, 4 things. He said the first thing, if you see a bad dream, you should say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim 3 times, not once. You wake up after seeing the nightmare, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Second thing he said, you should spit to your left. It's called a tafl. You should spit like this. Not spit, not like that. Just like this. Like when you read the Quran and you do ruqyah. If something hurts you, you read the Quran, and then after reading, you go and you put that on you. Or go and you put that on you. The wisdom for that is after you read the Quran, the barakah of the Quran is still in your mouth, on your spit. The barakah is there. Allah said in the Quran, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ الشِّفَاءُ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. In the Quran is a shifa and a rahmah. So when you read the Quran, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, the barakah is there. So you spit the barakah and you wipe it. As for the bad dream, why do you spit? Allahu alam, I don't know. Prophet told us to do that, that's what we do. He said, look to the left, spit 3 times. He didn't say look to the right and spit once, spit twice. He said look to the left and spit 3 times. Number 3, he said, if you see a bad dream, then change your position. So if you wake up and you're on your back, you should turn to your left side. If you wake up and you're on your right, you should turn to your right side. If you wake up from your nightmare and you're on your right side, turn to your back. You should avoid lying on your stomach and lying on your left side. If you lie on your stomach while you're sleeping on your left stomach, you're not responsible because you don't know what you're doing when you're sleeping. But you shouldn't sleep on your stomach, nor should you sleep on your left side. And you shouldn't put your baby on the stomach as well. The Prophet said lying on the stomach is the position of the people who will be punished in the hellfire. The 4th thing that you should do if you see a bad dream, the Nabi said, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it to anyone. You see a nightmare, don't come to someone and they say, what happened, what happened? And then you start telling them, I saw you were shot, you were killed, you were stabbed. Someone stabbed me. Don't do that. One companion, the Nabi prayed Salatul Fajr, and then after Fajr, he turned around, he made dhikr. The people were sitting there making dhikr. After he finished dhikr, he said, did anyone see a dream like last night? One man said, I did, Ya Rasulullah. He said, what did you see? The man said, Ya Rasulullah, I saw in my dream, there was a man, he was very strong. He had a big, massive boulder. He took the boulder and took it over his head and he smashed it on my head. And then he let the boulder roll down the mountain and he went to get the boulder. When he went to pick it up, my head came back the way it was and he smashed it again. And then the boulder rolled down. And then he came back and my head went back and he kept doing that. The Nabi told the people, none of you should talk about how shaitan plays with you in your dream. Someone sees in the dream, he drank khamr. He drank khamr. He goes to his friend, he says, I saw in my dream I was drinking khamr, and then after I drank the khamr, I went with that lady, and then we did that, and then I robbed them, and I did this, and I stole a car, and The man said, Ya Rasulullah, will we be held accountable for what we think about? Bad thoughts come in your mind. Bad thoughts. You want to really hurt someone, you want to harm someone, they may even be close to you, you want to really kill them. You get so upset, you want to kill them. Or you think about something that's haram, you know it's haram. Will we be responsible for that? I want to smoke a cigarette. I want to smoke a cigarette. It's Ramadan, I want to smoke a cigarette. And you just think about it. The Nabi said, will we be responsible for what we think, nasty, bad things? He said, no. As long as you don't talk about it and you don't act upon it. But if you start talking about it or you act upon it, then you're going to be held accountable. As for shaitan making waswas in your dream, in your mind, then you're not responsible. So 4 things. Seek refuge in Allah from a shaitan. Spit to your left 3 times. Seek refuge 3 times. Spit 3 times. Change your position. And number 4, don't talk about it to anyone. The good dream, praise Allah and tell it to the person you love. About the bad dream, the Prophet said, don't talk about it because it won't hurt you. What you saw is not going to hurt you. So don't go and change your plans to travel. The plane's going to crash. No, don't do that. And if the plane was meant to crash, you're going to be on that plane if you were meant to be on that plane. That's what we wanted to present today. Khwani, practical, easy dars about a mundane issue. If you brothers have any questions, we'll take question time 5. If you have questions.
I was wondering, is it possible to
Yeah, there's nothing that would prevent us from having all three types of dreams in the same night. You understand? Because the first dream can be good or bad or just regular. Everybody's sleep patterns are different. Everyone's sleep patterns are different. So some people, if you sleep 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever, or less than that, you can have a combination of all three. It's possible, yes. My man, behind him.
Are there any authentic books that you can refer to?
Good question, my brother, good question. That's an excellent question. There is a famous book called the Ta'bir al-Ru'ya, Interpretations of Dreams. They say that it is the book of Al-Imam Al-Hasan al-Basri from the Tabi'een. They say that he wrote this book. In reality, this is not his book. That book has a lot of stuff, weak stuff. You can't believe it. It's a book of the charlatans. Don't believe it. Again, where I come from, the community where I come from, the people play the lottery a lot. Like these people won $100 million, £100 million. In America, you can go to the news agent, and there's a book that they sell called the Book of Numbers. The Book of Numbers. You read that book, any dream that you have, they give you numbers for that dream. So if you dream about milk, they'll say play number 27. Milk is number 27. A dog is number 85. If you dream about flying, that's 340. And these kinds of things. So people, they buy those books and they play the numbers based upon that. The Book of Dreams. But recently, a sheikh who comes to this country from, and he's living in Saudi Arabia, his name is Khalid Al-Ambari. Khalid, Abu Abdurrahman Khalid Al-Ambari came to Green Lane. He wrote a book called The Interpretations of Dreams based on the Quran and the Sunnah. Khalid Al-Ambari. Khalid Al-Ambari. He wrote a book, Interpretations of Dreams based on the Quran, the Sunnah, and the statements of the Salaf. Because the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he interpreted things from the dreams, like milk, like water. He saw the bucket. He saw in a dream that Abu Bakr and Umar were raising up some water out of the well, and it was difficult for Abu Bakr. And then Umar came and he raised it up very quickly. They said, what's the interpretation? The Prophet said that shows the strength of Umar and the weakness of Abu Bakr. When he went for the Isra and Mi'raj, the two angels came to him and they put in front of him khamr and they put in front of him milk. They said, choose one. He chose the milk and he drank it. They say, you chose the right one. You chose the fitrah. So he described milk as being the fitrah. And he went on to give some examples about if someone has about it could be an indication that he's going to go to Mecca because it's Qura, the mother of all the cities. Maybe an indication he's going to make Hajj or Umrah and things like that. But everything in the book is just giving you what the Sunnah said. It doesn't necessarily mean if you see that the same thing applies to you. Wallahu. Any more questions? Tfaddal. I saw that somewhere. I saw that. I never read it, that Bilal Phillips has a book, Dream Interpretations. I never read that book, so I don't know what he said about it. But generally speaking, Bilal Phillips is a Salafi brother, student of knowledge, and he doesn't rely on hocus pocus, khurafat, shirk, and bid'ah, and things like that. His writings are usually knowledge-based and supported by dalils. So there is a book that is written, but I never read that book, so I don't know. Okay, Khwani, we're going to stop here, inshallah, and we ask Allah Ta'ala for our tawfiq. Barakallahu feekum wa assalamu alaykum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.